of the blending, and
Yeah,
yes, I will be looking
yeah,
to improve the
yeah.
blending.
I'd love to know what you mean by improving blending. If you mean like not having to leave the game and go to Nifty to be able to do a blend, then sure. If you mean like in-house blending where it's on the chain, then
I
what?
think what he means, and I think I get what he means, because I do feel the same. The whole of Nifty blocks in the blending system is poor. The setup of it is poor because you can't put anything into any order. It's literally, you put one on, and
Well,
it's just in a linear line,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of what goes on and what comes off.
All
So
right,
it's
so you
very,
mean you got like the minimal tabs of this is this type of blend, that's that type of blend, but
you
otherwise
don't even get
it's
that. You don't even
no.
get that.
Because I've always been
It's
happy with using Nifty because literally just go on, look for the thing that I'm looking for, and then sort by what I've got, and it minimizes it right down to the bare minimum that what I've got. But if you've got shitloads of stuff, then I can understand.
Yeah, yeah. But excuse me. Um, yes, there will be. I will do what I can. Is about all I can say next. I don't know what the best options of it are, but yes, I will really be looking into it, um, which is a good idea to be able to get rid of some components, really.
Oh,
So
you
yeah.
think it means like more blending, more reasons to get rid of stuff?
Well, I think they go. I think it's quite difficult to find the ones that you're looking for, or just to scroll through them. You
Yeah,
get to a list and you've got to scroll through them all. I wish I could have it where you could have like, um, all the um, all of the components separated, so you could literally go to the component that you want, and then the one that you want,
oh,
and so
so
on.
you literally click it and just go, right, I want to make an engine. I need common, rare, blah, 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 and it's just those five that show up.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. I mean,
So
if you want to say Nick's, just drop in there what it is you meant. Can I maybe address that as well? But yeah, we can look at that.
yeah,
I mean, I'm
yeah,
sure
and
pulling that into the UI is going to be a simple task.
yeah, but also they go the ones with kyanite and crystals and things like that. The price fluctuation changes so much on it, but then to try to change that blend, you've got to delete the old one, put a new one in, and it basically goes to the front of the line.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
then everything starts becoming really out of place and difficult to find and outdated, outpriced. Um, like I said, I've not found a good way to manage that. I will. It is something that I know I need to address
right, yeah,
in
well,
some
yeah.
way, shape, or form.
Uh,
Um, all right, Vegetable.
yeah,
Do you want to
everyone
share
good,
your
yeah.
screen and show
Um,
everyone what you've been doing?
yeah, I think we've got enough time. Which one is it now?
This is where his
That one.
computer's going to say no. Computer says no.
I can only do 60 FPS at 1440. I hope that's alright for everybody's retinas. Um, I'm guessing everyone can
Nope.
see that.
19.
I got full screen. No,
Yeah.
that one.
So try to make it as big as you can on your screens. If you're on a phone, you're going to struggle a little bit, maybe. You will be able to zoom into it all and stuff like that, but PC
Yeah.
is probably the best at the minute.
Let me refresh it, seeing as I'm already logged in. There we go. Shit. There we go. So it's just normal login process. Do need to sort out the onboarding screen. Uh, that shouldn't be too hard. And then it loads up all the planets in the top right here. So it's pulling all the current planets in. It's already got 135 of mine.
So when you say
There we
all the
go.
planets, you mean every single planet which is in the game?
Yeah. All planets in all stations, all the data that it needs to. When you click it, it displays the planet. Currently, just placeholder images because I haven't downloaded all the pictures yet. I'll be doing that tonight. Um, and then it's currently sorting by pool size. So the maximum pool size, the biggest pool owner is currently um,
Can you zoom in on
o.eiu.1.
that a little bit, buddy?
Yeah,
Nice.
right. Yeah, so we'll do it 4 by 4. Can you see that better? Is that looking all right to
Yep.
everyone?
Yep. I was just
Uh,
thinking with anyone on a mobile.
yeah. So we'll go into almost mobile view.
Yeah.
Mobile view would be that. So currently, if you're watching this on a phone, and you got it upright. That's what you'd be seeing, or a little bit less, a little bit more. Um, so that'll do. Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
so
I think that's good.
that's the highest pull. I'm not sure why it's a little bit more than that. Maybe I don't know what planet types they are. I forgot to put that in, like an idiot. Um, so yeah, it's currently sorted by that, and it scroll all the way to the bottom and pop back to the top. It just needs the click working, and then you can go the next 50 planets, next 50, and so on.
So basically, that's every single paradise planet, which
It's
is in
not
every single
not
station.
paradises. That's just a picture that I just used. It's every planet in every station. I
Yeah.
just haven't put the actual type, planet type. But yeah, just literally zipping through them like that, and then you come to your own planets. So
So they're your planets that
these are
you
mine.
own.
Yeah, these are my
Yeah.
planets. And we've got these bars. So you've got your upgrade. That's 5% upgraded. That's got a pull size of 99%, so it's not depleted. This one's had 14% taken out of it, and it is 4% upgraded. Where's my crystals? I'll be changing it so that you can sort your planets around. Yeah, so that's a fully upgraded planet. Uh, Goes gold. If it's got a maximum pull, it's not been touched. It'd also be gold. Um,
But those numbers are going to change to like upgraded 100% and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah,
reduce,
yeah, yeah. They'll be
accordingly rather than it being one.
they'll be percentages rather than ones
Yeah.
because confusing for most people. Um, and then when I'm gonna have to zoom out a little bit. And then we come to the hangar. It says 128, so I've not got 128 ships, but you could have, I suppose. That'd be a dream, right? Having as many ships
Hmm.
as you wanted floating about. Um, so what we've got here then is the current states of the ships. This one's currently out at a planet. So these will be planet context buttons. So there could be anything up to 12 different things to do on a planet. And then if we wanted to put another 6 or 8 buttons down in this space, probably 8 actually, to be fair, could maybe squeeze them in. So then we can toggle between different screens and we can change. So basically, there'll be a lot of shit just in that little thing. Um,
Yeah. And those, sorry, just button on you. Those
yeah,
pictures at the top are subject to change.
all these, yeah. These are just placeholders for me to visualize how it is.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, you'll probably change that to a planet, uh, because
A grassland planet.
yeah, or to the actual planet image.
Yeah.
Because obviously that'd denote that you're currently in orbit. This would make sense as to you being on the ground. So,
Yeah.
you know, obviously, if you get to a planet and you don't want to fly onto the next planet rather than flying back to the station, then you could always maybe explore the planet. So it's
Yeah.
always an option. Um, this one is currently flying. Um, so all the buttons are grayed out at the bottom here, and they'll all change. This one's currently in the station. It's in what we'll call maintenance screen. So these are all your parts, and you can change your parts. Otherwise, you've got these, which is send on a mission, and then the one at the planet is return from the mission. But again, you may not just have to return. You might be able to go somewhere else, do something else. But when you're on here, you can change your parts. So just select that chair. Now that chair is ready to go, and get switched. So then we can undo the changes, which brings us back to what we had, but it's a small bug where it doesn't put it back into there. This will instantly take all parts off the ship. So we'll do that. We'll take all the parts off this ship. And it'll crash. Why did it do
But
that?
how it looks real good.
Wow, that's a weird one. That is a weird one.
Isn't that typical?
Yeah. Um, that worked
Quick
perfectly fine
refresh.
earlier as well. Yeah. Yeah, it's instantly back in.
But sometimes, even in our NFT game, we get errors come from Wax every now and then, and you've got to try clicking and getting in 3 or 4 times. So Wax
Yeah.
is a little bit of a temperamental network.
I mean, that wasn't a wax thing, that were a this thing, but I don't understand
Oh,
where that came from because it shouldn't have been doing what it were doing. Unless it's because, oh no, 'cause I made a change. So yeah, no, it can't be that. But it's perfect when you're trying to show something, it's always going to break, innit?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna get
Uh,
shown up, now's gonna be the time.
yeah, so
But
while we're
just
waiting for
wait a
that,
little while.
we'll call this ship
Wait.
back. If Yeah, we'll call that one back. Didn't mean to click that.
And what's real good, I think, is the way you sort of select
There we go.
everything.
So transaction went through perfectly fine. We got two more. Oh, this one's just, oh no, I've just got my parts right, yeah. So we'll return this one, and this one's got no parts for some reason. So have I clicked? Yeah, I've clicked that one. We'll return that one as well while we're at it.
But we will do a tutorial.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
as you start the game, it will give you sort of you can't go on until you've done this or read this.
yeah. There'll be something to
To
guide you
fully
through it.
understand what's going on.
So I'll swap this mythic out for this legendary, and then it's more obvious that it's happened, as long as it don't crash. So we'll unattach a part, we'll transfer a part, we'll attach a part, then we'll unattach, we'll transfer and attach again.
So you choose what you want to do on that action.
Yep. So there we go. So because you have to take the part off, it'll ask to remove the part, and then I have to give the part to the game, and then the game has to have access to that part. So that's those three steps within that one NFT, and then three within this one. And then if I come out of my account, go back into my hangar, that should have already taken effect, and I should be seeing the legendary and the chair up there. It takes a little too long for my liking to get this done, so I'll redesign that
Is there any way you
process.
can speed that up? To be fair,
Yeah,
there's quite a lot of data that it's getting, but I do agree it probably could be a bit quicker
yeah. Well, it's every
if there's
time you go
anything
in
we
and
can
go
do.
back out, it shouldn't be in there. But it's when I first started it, I started off with everything else and then came to this part, and I'm like, right, I'll make this on its own. So if it breaks, I'm not breaking everything. And then I'll
With
just move this into the API section rather than in its own hull. Yeah, so we've got the legendary on there now on the blue chair, which is cool. And then I'll try and do it with this one. So remove all, and we'll do it with this one as well. So the red X is remove all, so it's just marking everything to be removed. So I've got 24 actions to do, unattaching all the parts. Hopefully it don't
and
crash.
one of the so
It crashed.
from um, a standpoint, basically it's asking the chain, um, have you got it? Can I remove it and attach this one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And that's sort of the one action, the our one action, but they need 3 actions to do it.
yeah, yeah. So you'd normally in the game anyway just click it, but if you went to do it through blocks, you'd have to send it yourself to the game first with the correct memo, and then ask it to put that part onto your ship.
Nick's asked in terms of game mechanics, absolutely nothing's changed. It's
Yeah,
exactly the same.
yeah. So you
Um,
still remove. I didn't. Yeah, sorry. I'll click it anyway. Um, yeah, you're still sending your ships, still going to be doing exactly the same as what you were doing before. This is just a there we go. That one went through, so I've just removed all the parts off this one, and I'll do that with this one as well. I might have just been asking too much by asking for all of them to happen at the same time, or one of the ships is broken. Yeah,
But
so that ship's broken.
I think what really it is, Nick's, it's to give the game a bit of a facelift, and it also gives us a good platform to be able to do other things.
Yeah, it's got better usability. Um, There'll be more in the terms of statistics and that. It'll be a little easier to do everything that you needed to do anyway. Um, and that's just with the UI section of it. Once I've got this kind of out there, I can then take a back seat on the front end for a little while and go to the contract side of life, and start making some changes in there that'll reflect the kind of UI that you've got. And make this balanced with the contract. Um, so then within here, I'll just see if I can send that one. Come on. Yeah, that works, right. So I've got two ships anyway. Um, so within here, you've got a lot of real estate. So um, it says account. It's just the main screen. You got your address. Can do anything within here. If you wanted mini games or anything like that, they can be displayed up in here. Um, all your account information will go in there. Um, but yeah, it's just generally making a better space to play the game and make it better for you guys.
Also, just now you said about mini games, and that's going to be quite a something that we're going to be pushing, as quick as possible
Yeah,
to be able to. Essentially, what we want is people to be able to come into the game and to be able to give people enough things to do to keep them there. Obviously, if you're sending your ships out to Sector 24, that's obviously that's not going to happen.
well, you
But
never know.
ultimately, what we want to try to achieve is to get people to be playing the game, get people not go to Atomic Hub to be blending their NFTs, get them to do it in the game, get them to be able to buy NFTs, get it to a place where maybe it even suggests to you, this NFT is gonna um, give your ship X boost. Do you want to purchase it? And try to give hints of the cards that or NFTs that are going to improve the game for the player and make their ship that little bit faster.
Yeah,
Um,
because ultimately you don't want to have to be doing too much in the way of pay to win, buy mechanic kind of stuff to get your son going light speeds. If you're playing the game already anyway, should be earning yourself a little bit back to be able to improve your own game,
yeah,
the way you play and what you play.
but also getting more use cases for Kyanite. If we can get use cases for Kyanite in game by playing games and mini games, then
Yeah,
that's hugely beneficial.
I mean,
If
if you
we
want to
can
play
get,
chucks, just chuck a Kyanite at a wall and see who wins. Why not?
yeah, there's a lot of things that I think we're able to do, but also we can have achievements in mini games and things like that, and leaderboards across the whole of Starship, um, and give buffs and things like that.
Yeah,
Completing these achievements, have leaderboard for so people
definitely.
could be competitive.
I mean,
I don't think any of those are particularly difficult to implement now.
no.
Oh, actually, I don't have a I don't have a bloody clue.
I
There's
mean, if you want monthly leaderboards, that should be easy enough to do. We'll be able to get that kind of stats in here, and then rewarding people would just be, you know the address. It'll be linked to the account. So if you want to give someone something that gives them a little bit of an edge for later game mechanics, then why not?
yeah, and
Even if
also
it's not got much use now, it will.
going in a completely different direction. We mentioned, or you mentioned earlier about having a ship that was in orbit or on the ground. currently there's nothing
Yeah,
to do on the ground.
yeah,
So,
yeah, 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 yeah.
you know,
We
I,
could implement something for the ground quite easily.
yeah,
Even just for the beginnings, something as simple as like that dino running game where you jump over stuff. Just something
yeah,
simple, something to at least show the area space that you can work in. Maybe someone
yeah.
wants a mini game in there, they can suggest it, or if they have one, then submit it in there so that it's within the small area to play. We can make them available on certain planets. If you own a planet and you want your own game there, then if you want to submit it, why not have it there?
But yeah, and also I think it will show to people that we are, trying to achieve, what we can for, what they've already bought.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
and we're just trying to make good on not specifically the promises and everything that's been made, but to do something that's gonna um,
for whatever's in
give
that
some
bucket of
people,
NFTs, is find a utility for it.
yeah, yeah.
There has to be.
So
It's as plain and simple as that. It exists. It's there. It must be used.
yeah, yeah. Um, and we're basically just trying to get the whole UI changed. I just wanted it to be sort of brighter, more appealing, easier to use, with the ability to add more and more to it.
Yeah.
And I think Resident's achieved that.
And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select all my parts. Normally you'd click, select the part, send it. Click, set the part, select, send it. In this, you'd click your part, and it's on. Click your part, and so on. And then you click the green tick, and it'll go. Or this one, it's select all best. So I click select all best. It will take all of my best components for this ship. I click submit, and it's just going to transfer and attach all my parts. As long, I was just about to say as long as it don't crash, but no, it crashed. What is it this time?
What's going to be the use case for the plants and the animals NFT?
Uh,
Um,
Originally, I might try my best to stick to the original plan of having some form of turn-based game for him. Um, we'll just reset the UI and then I'll go in and explain it. I need to chase down what that issue is. There we go. So let's say, for example, just have to wait a sec while it refreshes so I know what ships are where. This is at the station. So this is at the station. It'd be a picture of a station. It wouldn't be a ship. Um, and then within here, you've got your 12 boxes. So you'd click this button, it'd take you through to your part selection. Click this button, you'll be in the middle. Uh, and literally you select 6 creatures, 3 Sensimilia, and 3 plots. Just for the sake of argument for now, we'll do that. And then it basically random number generates. Each card would have its own specific sets of traits, which we won't disclose because it can change at any given time. But they'll battle off. These will give buffs, and these might give healings or different skills. We'll just mix some stuff up at random and see how it works. And when you're at a station, there'll be a small list when you're in this screen of players. You can click on that player, request them to play a game of cards. So you just literally like a challenge. Um, to start with, we'll allow everyone to have everything, access to everything, just to see how it works, um, or at least during testing, something like that. And you'll just battle cards off each other. There'd be no reward, just something to do for now. We can figure out some stuff later on. Maybe the plants. You'll have a certain plant on this, like a first edition plant, and every time you go to a planet, there's a chance that you'll carry the spores from that plant to the planet, and then that'll give after a certain amount of time a regular edition NFT of that plant on there, which then someone could randomly get. So as you'll be going around spawning things for other people to go collect. Let's say you have an Arojo and you meet up with another person who's got an Arojo, you could breed those off to a regular edition one, which then might be different within the battle system. Not promising that, but that seems like it should be a simple enough task, given what I've got
Yeah,
at
well,
hand.
sorry. On that note, that we're promising nothing.
Yeah.
We're
Oh yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
promising nothing. You know, this was really just to show you where the UI's heading and
yeah.
what's
Where the
possible in the
crashy
UI.
mess is.
Yeah, apart from its crashing,
Yeah, yeah,
but um, that's something that's hopefully easy to rectify. There's still
yeah.
a
It,
few
it, it
changes
wasn't
that
doing
need
it
to be
last
done.
night, so I've changed one small thing today that's not happy.
Yeah,
And then lastly on the ships anyway, this button is currently the send to closest planet owned with pull, if that makes sense to anybody. Um,
I, I think that's a real good one. You know, being able to send your ship to the closest one that you own on that space station.
yeah,
So
so I'll
if
hit
you
that.
own one in Sector Zero, move to planet.
Didn't mean to click that. Yeah, move to planet. It is literally just going to move my ship to the planet. Uh,
That's
there we
one
go.
click to
So
get
it's
it
gone.
there.
Yep. So straight to my planet. If that planet starts to drain, then the next one of my planets will have a higher pull and it will be used, and then it'll become a toss battle between the two of those. So, in theory, if I own 4 planets in Sector Zero, it'll do the first one, then it'll do the second one, then it'll do the third one, then it'll do the fourth one, and then it'll go back around again to the lowest, to the highest pull out of the 4, and hopscotch between them until you've completely depleted it.
Nice.
Which I don't think in a day you'd be able to deplete all your planets at Sector Zero. But that's just it'll do Sector Zero. If it can't find a Sector Zero, it'll go Sector One, Sector Two, Sector Three. It's just a quick deploy, closest planet you own, with cash.
Yeah.
Off you go. You'll be able to select again once you well, once I put the extra buttons in, should I say. Um, we'll be able to select between which planets you want to go to, which sectors, which station, jumping between your space stations. That'll be on there. You might want to do that. Some people are quite home at the stations they're at, but later down the line you might want to change station, shall we say. Might be more
Mm.
lucrative to be in a different station. It might be the death of you to be not in that station. Depends how big some
Yeah,
stations. Say if some stations start getting a lot of power in them, then there could be a lot of interesting things.
but I think we can also do, you know, is Starship play our part in trying to get people to move from stations, you know, with leaderboards and achievements and things like that, you know, try and get an achievement for visiting all 12 all of the space stations.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
In a
if
month,
you
you
earn
visit every station.
X amount of kyanite on a space station in a week or 2 weeks or something like that, you know, you get an achievement. You know, and again, I'd like they're the sorts of things that I'd like to see sooner, as soon as we can.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, yeah, that,
you
that
know,
could be implemented um,
yeah,
before this comes out.
no,
I'd hope. I'll try and see what I can do.
but I do like all the UI is here.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
I
being able
will
to
be
see
adding
how upgraded it is.
a bar in this space here, which will represent again like tabs. So this is be the main tab, and the next tab would be maybe how many people are on that planet currently. So because you might stay there. So if you're at that planet, we'll see how many people are there. Might be lucrative for someone who wants to go. I will look through someone's ship's windows to visit that planet if there's quite a lot of people there. Um, and then maybe some other statistics like how habitable the planet is. Again, it'll be just placeholder information to start with, but it will be thrown in there to at least be there. And then buying it from Atomic Hub if it's available for sale, then there'll be a little light up area there that'll pop up to say that it's available for purchase with the price. If it's not owned, then you'll be able to quick dispatch a ship. It'll take your fastest ship and send it there. Um, in theory, with the system I've got set up, as long as you leave the UI open, we could quite easily queue up a transaction. I'd like to show you that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. I'll try. But yeah, so then you'll be able to send and buy it. If you want to send and upgrade it, then you can send and upgrade it. Um, and other stuff as it comes out along in different sections of it. Hopefully. So let's see if I can show that. Don't know if I'll be able
What's the
to now.
real good thing with that, boys? On Atomic Hub, there's almost no way of being able to identify which planet it is that you're trying to buy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Obviously, it
yeah, yeah.
does have the NFT number, but then you've got to then go into the game, find the station, find the sector, and so on.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
real difficult.
It,
This
it,
is going to make it so much easier for people to be able to complete a sector or something like that, or
yeah, yeah.
potentially find specific planets or buy whole sectors and things like that. So,
Micromanage
yeah,
how much wax they're gonna have to spend on upgrading it to a fully upgrade. Excuse me,
yeah.
fully upgraded planet. Um, can I do? Oh, I can. I don't think I'll be able to. Oh no, it's got no parts, but I'll be able to click it anyway. No, no, I can do that one. So what I'll do is I'll dispatch it, but I'm gonna just decline the transaction. It might make it crash. I hope it don't. No, right, yeah. So I close the window. So now I've got two transactions in there. Um, click on this one. I'll decline this one. I've got three. I should have had four. Hmm. But anyway, so we've got a move to planet, send batch, and then a move to planet. The send batch is basically me clicking the dispatch all. So for example, in here instead of a dispatch all, it'd be send batch, dispatch all, cancel batch. So in theory, if you kept the UI open, we could have it where you made a batch of transactions and left it, and so long as the time expired and it was able to go, it would then send that requested transaction to the server. Um, shouldn't be much of an issue with that, I wouldn't have thought. However, there might be, so we'll have to test that thoroughly to make sure it's watertight. Even if it's you make a transaction that goes to the chain and then someone else can say that it's good to go rather than you doing it. But the idea behind that is so that um, I wanted to move to planet, but then I break at this point, and then I can leave this one and it'll go later. Um, obviously, if you have to click a button to approve the signature, then you wouldn't be able to use that process, like Anchor users or Wombat users. But a cloud user would be able to click the auto sign transaction um, for send to planet. So then that contract action always send to planet will just get signed. Um, the remove part will just get signed if you put it to that one, but the other ones won't. So if you wanted to, you could have send to planet and collect as auto sign transactions, and then let this take control of sending the planet out and sending it back. But that'd have to be slightly throttled down using your AI NFT. So if you've got a legendary AI, then you could do 10 or 15 queues. If you haven't, then you can only do, say, 5 cube things. Might see you through an hour, might see you through 2 hours of gameplay. Or while you're asleep, get your 2 nice trips put in. But that's subject to change and discussion. So yeah, now I've got
Oh,
two send batches.
I thought that was me then.
Yeah, so other than that, I think that's pretty much this covered. If anyone's got any questions about it or anything that they'd like to, ask or suggest, then
Is there going to be
be good.
oh, sorry, have you got a mine all function? So you can send all, can you mine all?
Currently, you can send all. Technically speaking, again, with the batching of transactions, yes, we could do send all right now. Um,
Yep.
but the way it's set up at the minute, if I click that and then click dispatch all, it's going to try and send the two move to planets at the same time. It's ignoring the fact that there's a separator. Um, because I didn't think about doing that. But easily enough, yeah, it would then pop up 12 times asking you to sign the transaction. Or again, if you've got claim clicked, then it'll just drag them all back.
Yeah.
And it'd briefly flash up for a second and then disappear behind the screen. I didn't mean to click that. Oops. Excuse me. But yeah, otherwise it just needs a small tweak in the contract for you to be able to click a button, say, for example, when the ship comes back, this will pop up, but it might be green rather than red or blue or whatever colour. And it'll be the one for ship management. So it'll be like, oh, you need to do something with your ship. I need to bring them all back. Right, okay. Just quick request them all back. And then once they've all landed back, you maybe get the pop up and just quick send them all back out again. But it just needs a very small tweak in the contract, and then that would work. And same goes for instead of heading back to the station, heading to the neighbouring planet or neighbouring system, tested and working. Subject to discussion though, because there's a small issue about funding for it. Basically, as it is, you go one third of a sector for say one cost, and it took you an hour. Then to go to the neighbouring planet, in my mind, it would only take a quarter of a sector, and a quarter of the fuel costs, and a quarter of the time. But then that makes it so that you could go from here in an hour, here in 15 minutes, here in 15 minutes, here in 15 minutes, and then here in 15 minutes, and then head back, and you've technically halved your travel time because you'd have had to do an hour, 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 an hour every time you went back. So I was thinking it should be the 15 minutes as you're going up through it, but at the same time, I'm thinking it should take the same length of time to travel the parsec plus travel distance back, because you would be traveling back from here, unless you made it so that you could trace a route and then you had to trace the route back, but then that'd be arsage.
See, I do like the idea of it, but I also like the idea of perhaps if you're doing that because you're cutting the cost down, the fuel times down by whatever percentage,
That one
that
just got back.
you've got a chance of breaking down, you know, and then you're
Well,
going to
yeah,
need one of the spare parts.
yeah. I mean, we could even make it so that you've got to have a certain class ship or a certain playable card. So again, we'll go back to how it was. So this, for example, is it's gone. I thought it had come back. It must have been a bug. So for example, this one's in the station. I would have this parts, and then I'd change the screen, and I would have two um, captains or pilots, for want of a better word, and an equipment slot for those pilots to use. Maybe a defense slot, maybe cargo, so not your kyanite holdings, but actual cargo, and then maybe two deployable um, slots for deploying a quad bike or something, for example, just as cards though. Um,
Yeah,
and then
because
when
we
you
do
get
have
to the planet, it's part of the little mini games, so that kind of stuff. Um,
because we do have two extra components on the ship,
yeah,
or
yeah,
two slots.
yeah. There's two slots left to use, which is going to throw this UI out a bit, I
Yeah,
think.
so
Yeah.
it's a great spot for pilots
In
and
fact, no, yeah,
something else.
it worked for other UI because this is your ship components, and then
Yeah,
you'll have the cannon or shields in it, yeah. So you can deploy your shields in this one, cannon in this one, or two cannons, and customize your attack structure slightly
yeah.
or suitably for defense. So I have two shields up front or a shield
But
up
then that
front.
would depend on the class of ship that you have on it as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we could work on that easy enough as well. Work like
You
that
know,
that
there's
won't be for launch. That'll be for at least first quarter.
yeah, no, 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 yeah, no, no, no. A lot of quite a lot of what's being spoken about is not for release.
No, it's
Really for
it's,
release, what I wanted was
it's
just the UI to change and make life easier to um
yeah. Without the crashing and that, we'll have that for sure.
yeah.
Hopefully it gets a few heads turned. I mean, I don't know what you guys think of the how it looks. Um, in the sense of where is it? It would be normally that kind of size. I mean, personally, I feel I could play it like this because you can still just about click everything. I mean, it's a bit janky, but you can make out what parts you've got and everything perfectly fine. So if you wanted 24 or more ships, you'd be able to manage it like intergalactic bingo.
Yeah,
72, I've got that
yeah,
one. In fact, there you go. There's another little mini game when you're on a station. Go to Drunken Punk's cantina. Literally, we will put bingo on his planet. You can have a pint and play bingo. How's that sound?
yeah. That would be hilarious.
Um, Other than that, I'm
But
not sure. I don't think there's anything else I need to show on this. Really, it's just a matter of putting
uh,
in rentals page, a few extra things within here, just toggling between screens, and that's about it,
yeah,
really.
yes. Like to get the planets when they're traveling to a planet and things like that. In the ones which have just got the same graphic on,
These
why
ones,
is it that they've got the same? Yeah, why?
uh, placeholder images. So
Okay,
like these ones, you've got your ship parts, and then if I
yeah,
reset my ship, so now I just undone all my changes. Um, the
okay,
mechanic slots, I took that from clip art, or what like, in Paint 3D or whatever it is. So they're just there as I need parts. It makes sense. These are
okay.
basically because I'm current. I mean, it shouldn't be a grassland. That should have been on.
But
Have I,
yeah, but
I've
yeah,
sent them all.
people,
Yeah, that
I
should have been on the
understand.
that should have been on the planet one. But yeah, basically that's there for. I would have a different image in there because I'm flying, and
Yeah,
then obviously we'd have NFTs made up, or maybe not NFTs, but at least images that fit correct with it,
yeah,
that display, for example, because I'm in orbit, I have 15 satellites on board, little micro satellites, and while it's traveling, for example, I'll use this circle if I can bring it up big enough. That'll do. So this is sector 24. Starting off at the station, you go out this way, sector by sector by sector by sector. And then if you go in systems, so this would be system 0, and then go round the circle, to dividing that by the 24 or 25 that it is. So system 1 would be here, system 2 would be here, system 3. And then within that small area there would be your north, south, east, and west. So for example, if I set off from here and I wanted to go to sector 2, I'd go up to here. Anywhere between in that distance there, I could sit and shoot out a satellite ball, and it'll traverse off and just find something interesting. You might find an asteroid or something. If you found the asteroid, then it'll have an XYZ coordinate, which will correspond to the circle within the radius of it. So then that planet that you're currently at might not be the closest planet. You might have to fly to this planet to then access that asteroid. And if you get to that planet, then when you're at that planet, because you're in orbit, uh, yeah, because when you fly in, sorry, you'd be then in be in orbit with the planet on the screen instead. Which then here you'd have an asteroid. So you click the asteroid, and you'd go out to the asteroid. You mine it for its gold, resources, or whatever that might be hiding within it. Maybe it's the station owner's NFT that got lost there sometime, or a broken ship that needs salvaging, and you can take a common part out of it. Some random stuff, you know, and basically, so that's what those images will be changed to. Context menu buttons basically, so that they make sense to where you are and what you're doing. It's just them pictures for now for making sure it's spaced out and looking all right.
Yeah, for me, making it all sort of looking pretty, right pictures and everything like that for the release um, is
It's
paramount.
yeah,
Obviously,
it's a
we're pretty
trivial
much there, and
a
um,
trivial making.
yep, 100%. I know. Yep,
I mean,
yep,
I
yep.
won't lie. Let's see if I can do this. Mod, yeah, this one. With the state of AI image generation and stuff like that these days, getting us some images. For example, this one. Can I just drop it here? No. I hope you can't see my
But I'm
screen.
just really glad that we're starting to see we're seeing improvement, with a new direction, which is um,
There we
you
go.
know bit by
So
bit rather than
that would be the
wow,
image of when you're on the lava planet.
magma planet.
Yeah, so once you've gone down to the surface, there we've got an image for it. Um, Crystal planet. So just a background for a crystal planet. It might be
Yeah,
that image on 1 in 1,000 crystal planets if we've got enough images to be able to share around them all. I can't find another one that's suitable at the minute. So I deleted a lot of it to make room. And also some stupid images like this. If you can guess what it is, I'll give you. Uh, what should I give them, Stu? Purple resonator.
anything you like?
Purple resonator.
Yeah,
What is it? I'll give you 10 more seconds staring at it.
no idea.
We go. Answers in the comments below. It's not a resonator, no, no. I don't think anyone will get it. Um, yeah, I can't put gifs in here. Oh, I can. Yeah, it's a rocket-powered
I know.
woodlouse.
Just looks like you.
It's a rocket-powered woodlouse. You might find one of them on the planet somewhere.
A rocket. Oh yeah, that was obvious.
Yeah,
How did I miss that?
a woodlouse with a rocket pack.
Yeah.
Stupid images. Um, but yeah, with the state of the AI, we'll be able to pull a lot of images together to be able to make it look nice, even if it's only placeholder images to start with to get a rough idea of how it's going to be. And then later on, not as it makes more money or anything like that, but as we gain people on board that are willing and able to make art like that, submit it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I
Um,
think first and foremost, after we've got a new look, we need to try to make good on some of the things which have been done and what people have already purchased.
yeah, well,
Um,
I had a look through when Matt were explaining the arena and everything.
yeah,
It didn't make much sense. It really didn't. But after going through the arena channel, it does make sense. The way that he's got it set out. Just I think the way that were explained, it didn't make much sense. But after reading through that, it's crystal clear. Could quite easily drop that in as an aspect in this. So, for example, you go to play your cards. So these are your cards here. You've got your creatures, Sensimilia, um, your buffs, and then your plots. And then here you've also got your plots and your buffs and everything. And then you'll play your card out into this space. For argument's sake, it's got 3 turns. It gets 3 turns. There's the queued up. These battle, these battle, these battle, these battle. But you might have a card that turns from somewhere that you play that makes this one jump to this slot, or at least this one jumps to this slot. One behind, so that if you strategize to fight this one with this one, they play a card and it switches these two, or it switches your two. Just to mix it up a little bit. That should be quite easy to implement. I think the arena contract's set up for that kind of stuff already. It's just a matter of tying it into this UI. And it'd be just another tab that'd be very similar to this as the play space. Or even if you had your cards down here, their cards over the top. And then this is all the playable slots of the battlefield. That'd probably make more sense. So you've got a full back defense and 3 rows each. Um, so yeah, it'd be quite easy to do, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And again, no promises will be made, but all we can do is keep doing what we're doing, keep trying to get in the right direction. Um,
Yeah, I'm not
and,
sure
and
about all the old plots and stuff like that. What we can do about those. I mean, people own them. Maybe we find a use for them. Maybe they become
what the
transient.
plots of land.
Yeah, yeah. So like the Unreal Kingdom stuff that people or whatever it was back then, the stuff that's supposed to have been swapped out never swapped out, or you know whatever's been done's done. Um, but I'm not
Yeah,
sure. And at least what Starship's dished out, we're gonna have to try and make use of for definite. And not because I hold a lot of them, it's because a lot of you hold them.
yeah.
I mean, if you all want to keep dumping, then I'm gonna keep buying. Crystals
Well,
for
yeah,
anything under 5 cents. I think that's what they're at the minute. If it drops it much lower than that, they'll be getting ground up.
hmm,
Because it's just throw them into the game. I'll find it. I'll buy them up. Find a way to get rid of them, even if that means like throwing them into your ship to be able to fuel it in an emergency.
yeah, yeah. To be honest, there's so many good ideas which we can implement. Moving forward, and it's good to see that we're going to try to get as much usage for things and to try to get rid of as much as we can in respect of crystals, kyanite,
Yeah,
rather than it being sold, that it getting used.
yeah. Well,
And ultimately, that's what we want.
and I don't know if you want to discuss on that or not just yet, or if you want to leave it until after we've settled this in on the kyanite and that.
I'll do a deal on the side with you, Cap. Oh,
How
no,
many
did
ships
I
have you
say it
got,
out
Cap?
loud? No, I'm sure we can sort you out,
Yeah.
Captain Crypto.
How many have you got at the minute? Is it six? 12, 4 accounts, 16 each. If you've got 4 accounts and 16 each, I'll make it so that you can put them all in this UI. So they're all in there, so you can move them as long as they're not on a wax account because cloud account because you can't sign in with multiple clouds, unfortunately. I mean, there might be a way. I might be able to figure a way, but I don't currently know a way to be able to keep 2 wax accounts signed in because it's through um, an API tunnel. I mean, I'm gonna try it anyway.
Yeah,
But yeah,
we will
I mean, after
get out as
this,
well.
I think we should have 12 ships for everyone, or at least another 3 for those who haven't got 6 already.
Yeah, to be honest though, the 12 ships was for early adopters and people that at the beginning. I'm a little reluctant to um, give away ships up to 12 for everybody else, because then there was no benefit of people joining early.
Right.
Um,
Well, buy an SSU ship and we'll make sure it's used.
do what? Sorry.
Buy an SSU ship. I don't know. I'm guessing that pack money now goes to the Starship contract address, unless it's still going to War
Yes.
Games or it's going. Because I don't know whose NFT that was, whether it was cans or what. I don't know the logic behind if we're allowed to just push it. But if you own or purchase one of them, it'll be usable in some way, shape, or form in this UI, whether it be as a ship of, we'll say, minimum epic, but we'll discuss that. I think it's probably a good shout. Epic, um, rare. Well, and I suppose they've already got their own rarity, aren't they? Assigned to them.
Yeah, we'll go common. We'll go common.
All right, yeah. So they'd be common ships.
No,
Or
I'm joking. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah.
We'd need to work it out.
I mean, personally, I was thinking that they were companions more than anything. So you would deploy anywhere up to 12 companion ships, so you could take two heavy haulers, go out to Sector 24, leave your heavy haulers there with two small, let's call them
Have to.
envoys that stay in orbit, and then two that go down to the planet level to mine some resources over an hour, and you've got to revisit that to go collect them to bring them back.
Going to ask specifically, Cap. What would you think a reasonable price is to be able to purchase extra ships, Cap?
1,000 hours, 2,000 hours.
To buy it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1,000 hours, and you'll get another ship. Mystery Island. We'll not tell you where you're going. Thousand hours there, and you're done. No, I was thinking more 1,000 hours in game EXP grind to be able to unlock a new ship,
uh,
of which can be wiped at any time, if that makes sense. So it would maybe not be 1,000 hours, it might be 20 hours and you'll get an extra ship. But in a month's time, you won't have
I
that extra ship.
no, I'm not.
Or
I'm not convinced on an extra ship, but
a
I do
virtual
think
that gives
we
you a little
should have
less.
um, some achievements where if you get X amount of grinding hours, then you'll get a boost on your ship rather than giving
You
away
mean
more ships.
you mean a boost on on, oh, so your ship gets a little bit better.
Yes,
Right, yeah.
after significant, um, achievements, so it's not going to be easy ones to get. You might be able to get sort of 2% or 5% buffs here and there.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
if we're gonna do that, then realistically, we should level everybody's ships. So if someone's got 12 ships, then everybody can have 12 ships, if that makes sense. And then it's level and fair,
no,
but you know,
I'm not.
because you don't
That's one
buy
thing
them.
I will not back down on. I am not giving everybody 12 ships because I'm really for the early adopters that got 12 ships. If people want to buy up to 12 ships, I'm happy for that. I can't and I won't give away up
Yeah.
to
Oh,
12
sorry.
ships to
Well,
everybody.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Let
It's
them
me.
have the capacity to have 12 ships.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's me being a bit of a dickhead and standing my ground for early
Because
adopters because
in the grand
they
scheme of
get screwed
things,
over too often.
I mean, I don't know what other people would feel like. I'd love to know your input on that, but managing 100 ships, if you were managing
Yeah.
100 ships and it was a one-click process that you had to do once every 30 minutes to be able to move ships between 100 different planets, you got slightly less kyanite for doing that. Not in the game sense because you were doing that, but generally because that was an option that everybody can do that. Then half the kyanite amount, or bring down the kyanite by a full decimal point. Um, so that it's still balancing out the amount that kyanite's getting mined and minted. Um, Even better, I've got a mad theory in mind that we bring the current kyanite system under control, um, and try and wean it into the game and play into the game, and then we bring out a hard cap on the amount of kyanite that can exist in the universe. If we bring on a new station, then that's a new sector of the world that we've just discovered, which can bring on some more kyanite. But otherwise, it's a finite amount of kyanite, and as we're getting to that finite point, it starts to drastically drop off. Becomes a very scarce mineral around. But as it starts to get burnt and used again, it it'll automatically start to become better. So there's more getting fired back into the universe from a magic black hole, let's sort of speak. You throw it into it, it comes back out eventually. Um, Still recognise the adopt substantial investment I cannot mimic. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I can't even sit here and go, oh yeah, I've put a lot of money into this because I haven't. In the grand scheme, what a drop in the ocean compared to the people who invested at $6, dude. And for those
Yeah,
people, I
and
mean, end
I
of the day,
I
it's
honestly
crypto.
don't have. I don't care on whether somebody's only got $1 or $100,000.
No,
That's not in any
I'd
way, shape, or form what I give a shit about.
I'd like to see
And
someone come in with $0, wax address, make their MetaMask
they can.
address. Yeah, no, then join the game, rent a ship, and start making their cash to be able to get their first ship. Even if it's scrounging the amount of metal to be able to craft a frame. And when I say craft a frame, I mean not something that's a physical NFT that they get to keep or hold. They've made that ship, it's of their own accord. They're doing it for free. It could blow up. It was homemade. It could be stolen because it's not got any security. That kind of thing. If unless you're putting it on your own planet in your own secure area, then it'll be a thing that is um, vulnerable. Let's say, um, for example, if we decided to bring in cosmic events or anything that would make it a seasonal approach to the game, then that thing would not exist between unless you met a certain threshold to be able to bring it out of the game. It would just be a severely digital asset that is not tangible in any way, shape, or form. But it acts as a crutch and an aid to bring people on, maybe get them interested, moving between different planets, and then they'll go buy themselves a ship frame or something. But otherwise, they'll just put the grind in to be able to do it.
Yeah,
And as I
I
say,
think.
I'd like to see managing hundreds of ships, moving things around, doing things. So for your 100 ships might not even be enough to sustain things going. Because if you want to sell something from your planet, you've got so much iron there, you'll need some way of getting it to the current station to then transport to another station to then go to the planet of the person that wants it. Or somebody might put their ship up for rent for that purpose. So it's up for rent, you rent it, it's now your monthly trawler, it'll move stuff between two different planets. More in-game items to utilize and move things, so we need more. I'd say probably more ships is better.
Yeah, you're right, and more ships is definitely an option. It's
More money, more parts, more everything.
it is more money, more parts, and you are right. I just don't want to give them away. If people can earn them or buy them, then I'm happy to do it.
Well,
But
for
really,
for
it's
the
optional.
time being, then we'll say it's a maximum of 12 slots. If you've already got your 12 slots filled in, then that's all you're having. Um, and if you've only got 3 or 6, then there will be eventually an option for you to get up to 12
Yeah,
for not permanent. We'll say not permanently. It'll be a subject to change um, deal in the sense of if we decide to go and restart some mechanics, you might have to get them back. You might get them back at an accelerated rate because while you had them, you gained some um, achievement for having them, or something that tied it to you. You did have them, so therefore you can get them quicker.
I don't think if we give them, I don't think we should ever have the ability to take them back again.
Well, that's the thing. It's not like here have 12 ships. It's you have the capacity of 12 ships.
Oh right, I see, I see.
You for argument's sake, let's say it was a monthly wipe, so every month statistics reset and everything like that, for leaderboards, potentials, and all that kind of thing. Then if you have 12 ships now, you currently have those slots filled in, and when the monthly wipe happens, you still keep those 12 shots. If you've currently got three or six, then you will have the capacity to be able to unlock those slots by playing for a day or two. So maybe two slots after the second day or third day. For someone who's casually playing it, someone who competitively plays it, for example, might be able to get all 12 slots up within 2 days. But then
The,
they'll
the,
need the components and resources and parts to go onto those ships, and they have to
yeah,
find
but
those when mining.
now I, I've got to put my idiot hat on. Well, not my idiot hat, but my starship hat, and look at the bigger picture of it. All that's all well and good, but essentially all that's doing is giving somebody more ships to be able to take more out of the game, whether it be crystals or kyanite or whatever. They have to buy the components, but they buy the components off of Atomic Hub, where we only get sort of 10% for it. So we
No,
get minimal amounts
we
in.
could. I mean, obviously, you could just go buy them from Atomic Hub, but it'd be in game, so you could purchase parts. So, for
If we
example,
can do that and
this,
we mint them, then I don't, then it's a different story. But we
yeah, if we were, for example, if we did it with the blending format, then yeah, you could say you've gone out, you've got 100,000 iron, you've got 50 copper, 200 silicon, you know, just arbitrary ingredients for argument's sake. And because you've got that arbitrary ingredients, then you can blend that into one frame component. That frame component will have its own carried rarity, dependent on how much you actually cashed in of that stuff. That frame would then become part of the game's inventory system to tell you that you've got that slot, and then your parts you would have to purchase from Atomic Hub, but it would be handled in game much easier, and we'd retain 2 extra% for that. And then putting your stuff
yeah
up for sale would be done through here, which would gain us an extra 2% because we'd be the makers and the takers. And after a while, eventually, you'll be not going to Atomic Hub to put it up for sale, and you'll not be going there to buy it. So we'll be taking all of that percentages to go back into the game.
yeah,
And
and that's something that's from my point of view and the business point of view is my priority.
yeah,
Of being able to try to generate some revenue
yeah.
to
I
be
mean,
able to.
it will be a fine balance to get the the economics right of it. Um, but as it stands, I don't know exactly how much has been burnt out of the game and how much is squirreled away and how much is minted, so to speak. I've not been keeping a
Yeah,
track on that, but if the game got big enough, then again, it wouldn't be a case of automatic scaling. It wouldn't be a case of you sitting there doing some mathematics and going, "Oh, the price is wild, this, that, the other." The scaling had come by having a hard cap set. So if we got to the hard cap, you'd be more inclined to have to burn some out to get some more extra, um, because it might get down to where you'll be getting 0.5% of what you originally got.
yeah,
Not because
yeah.
someone
Oh yeah,
dumped the price for the day or somebody manipulated and bullied the market to make the change, but solely because the amount exists. So therefore, it, you got to use it. The hope would be that you'd use it.
yeah, and yeah. What we need is to try to create a way to burn the kyanite, which is already out there.
Yeah,
There's millions, tens and tens and tens and tens of millions in wax addresses.
yeah.
Um,
What I'll do is
and
I'll just run a script tonight that will get everybody's balances, every single last kyanite cent that
yeah,
exists, and see what we've got to play with. Um,
yeah. Some
uh,
people then, I've got no idea what people are going to do with it, but any one of those could really, 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 really muck the market up in a heartbeat.
I just
Um,
noticed Cap's question. Mining ores and minerals traded for crystals or kyanite, tradable for crystals or kyanite, potentially. I mean, why not?
yeah, why not?
You put up your ores for sale for kyanite because you need the kyanite. Then fair enough, because that guy might need the ores to bring online a new fuel station. Or but you've got some oil. He needs it to be able to refine it into fuel, of which you would need to stop off at him to go for a piss on your way to Sector 24. So you might be inclined to buy some fuel off him at whatever price he set it at because you really desperately needed some fuel and a toilet break.
Yeah,
No, like when you hit a motorway service station, you really, 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 really don't want to be paying the fuel prices, but because you're there,
I won't ever get caught doing that. I'm way too tight.
you just park on hard shoulder and go over edge.
uh,
But yeah, so there's that, and then create an event or open a short window where it's possible to grind for ships. I mean, yeah, could do. We could make it where you'll find one. Very rarely, but you might find some class of ship to be able to float around in. An SS mint only for new ships. So you mean take Starship to mint a new ship? So we take the Starship off the people. I'm not sure.
and any, I think the action for ships is for 3 ships at a time.
Yeah.
So um,
Yeah, I
it's
mean, I'd love to say, yeah, I'll sell people ships for Starship, but at the same point, I'm on the fence on the side of the why pay. It's only a place in which stuff exists to be used. So it's just another slot for you to put stuff in. So um, proceeds would come from other ways of when people are moving around and doing stuff. Um, in Starship holding for rarity, that's still a thing. And that'll probably remain a thing. But you might be able to tweak your rarity to the higher scale of that rarity. If that makes sense? So you'll not tip over the edge to the next tier, but you might be skating 10% lower than it because you've got the correct amount of gear and parts attached to your ship in various different places. So you've got the best captain, you've got the best shielding systems that enables you to go that fast, and other little buffs that'll get you up there. Could maybe do that. But I'm not a fan of selling off the ships, but I don't know. We'll have to see where we stand with that.
mm,
I mean, maybe make it so that um, once a month, once a month and once a month only, um, you're not given more ships, but you have access to be able to control more ships. So let's say currently we've got 100,000 ships that exist, and within that month, only 55 ships moved. That's a lot that aren't moving, that really shouldn't matter. Um, so if they've got parts equipped and they're able to be moved, then why not put it in the contract that you're able to move it, you hack to the ship and you send it. But if that player comes online and they want their ship, then they instantly get their ship back because it's not controlled and owned by you. It's just borrowed. Maybe
borrowed.
that's an idea. Yeah, it's borrowed without the owner's consent.
That would be funny, and then you get the intergalactic police hunting you down,
Well, yeah, there's another
and
option
then
for
get a
needing
fine.
more ships. More ships because patrols, more ships because planet defense. You
All
might
right,
need to leave 10 ships at a planet to look after it.
I've been thinking about it over the last couple of minutes, and if we can somehow give all of the people that have got 12 ships to give them a slight boost on their ships, which will basically make them better than anybody else's ships. But then we can give everybody else the ability of 12 normal ships.
When you say 12 normal ships, you mean 12 of the rarity of their starship.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, if you're on about basically saying that instead of having a rare ship, then they got the next tier of ship, then theoretically that should be easy enough because we just snapshot the addresses that have got the 12 ships enabled and are collected and ready to go. Not parts installed, but the contract knows that they've got 12. And then just
Can we
put
not give them just like a 20% speed boost and a 10% kyanite boost or something like that? A storage boost.
potentially, yeah, I can look into that. I mean, if that's what swings you around to giving everybody else 12 hardships, then
Is
fair
is
enough.
is yeah, is what I really want is just for the early adopters to be looked after a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
So,
all. You know,
how's about we
I
do it
agree
this way
with the
then,
12
Stu?
ships, and I was wrong. Despite
Well,
morally, I was right, but principally, I'm wrong. Um,
yeah, I mean, the
but
only
I'd
reason
just
I
like
say
to.
give everybody the 12 is because it gives it a level playing field. If we're going to be putting in leaderboardy stuff, kind of stuff, then
Yeah, no,
it
no, you're
wipes
right.
it clean,
You're
and
right.
then
You're right.
everyone has the chance to get what they need to get going. That's a thing. I'm saying it. Everyone has the chance to get what they need to get going, but nobody knows what they need to pack.
Yeah,
Get a
yeah. No,
suitcase, throw your
if we can
grandma
do
in it.
something like that, then I don't have an issue.
Yeah. I'll see if I can tweak it to a way that that'll work. Um, but for argument's sake, maybe at some point, once this UI is out, give it a month, see how it settles in. If there's not many bugs or issues that people have, you know, bringing to us to try and fix, then within that month, you might log in on, say, February or January back end sometime, and it's changed a little bit. Um, and you might have the capacity to do more. You might have 24 slots for ships, but they won't be withdrawing kyanite or anything like that. They won't be affecting the current game mechanics. They will be used and utilized for something else, if that makes sense. So you'll have
We can.
24 slots, but 12 of them will be going around the kyanite mining. The other 12 would be potential, let's call them test subjects, and it'll be up to you to be doing the tasks that are set with them to be able to see how they go and if they're worth keeping or not. To bring everybody up to 24 ships. So maybe we'll call it virtually mining and we'll see how things go.
Yeah,
So instead of
there's
getting kyanite, you'll get something else.
there's definitely a lot we can do, and we're already sort of exploring all sorts of different things. I say all sorts, they're all game related. Nothing's too massive or anything like that. It's just trying to make the game a little bit more fun. Try to get people to stay in the game rather than going out of the game for blending or buying parts.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to get mini games in the game so people can, again, can stay a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I've had 3 ideas while I've been on call for mini games that
yeah,
probably instantly implementable in the sense of that they'll be in there and they'll work, but viable, I'm not sure. But they could be in there.
thing is though, we can get games in, we can test them out, we can see what the community thinks to them. If the community like them, then we can put um, we can try to put a kyanite value to it, or we can try to,
Yeah, well, I'll
um,
do
you know,
a work in progress build.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this website currently in its current standings is just going to get refreshed, as in just make sure it's all working right, tie it up a little bit more, get all the images in line and everything, make sure everything's bob on as it is with the extra pages that I need to add. and then bring it online as a different a copy of it, but just change it. Maybe one week next week, I decide I want to change something and move it around. You'll be on there. You'll be able to go on it and perform all the normal actions and the new stuff. But the new stuff wouldn't be officially working or implemented. It'd be on running testnet side of life. So you'd either need a testnet anchor or a testnet wax address, or I'll just manage that in the back end. So you're just on a database of people that are playing, and the actions are generic, just for testing features and new ideas and stuff like that. So if you want access to that, you'll have to let us know, and we'll get you the first initial setup to get on that side of life. Um,
And you'll most likely get an achievement badge,
yeah, yeah,
as a tester, which will go as obviously
yeah.
on an achievement leaderboard or whatever. So
I'll have a look through my computer. I've got something somewhere that was an image that were made for me. Um, if you want in early on this, it's not going to be a for sale item, I guess, to start with. It might be later on. I get Stu to make an NFT up for it that'll be on your account. It won't be transferable, but it'll be burnable. Um, and it'll be specific to you to be able to access these features and this game. We'll sort that out. If you're alright with doing it that way, Stu.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of what we spoke about earlier, is I expressed my concern on a few areas, and we spoke about them, and
Yeah,
but I think we're pretty much there on sort of the direction that we want to go,
yeah,
um,
yeah,
what it is
yeah.
we're trying to achieve, and I think it's all looking good.
I mean, personally, I'd like to. I mean, this current UI has took me a week. Um, I had a week off work. I'm back to work now, so it's not going to be slower. It's just not going to be as. It's what it'd be twice better because I'd have two times the amount of time to actually work on it. But once this is up and running and running, I'd like personally to be able to get into a situation where I'm able to sit and do this as a maybe not full time, but at least take 2 days a week off work and work a part time job, and then work on this and make it much better. And get instead of having a full week on this, say 2 weeks on the front end and then a couple of months on the contract, get the contract whipped into shape, bring in new mechanics. You guys suggest things. And when I say suggest things, I don't mean like go into general and just I want this, I want that, I want the other. We've got a forums channel somewhere, haven't we? If not,
Yeah,
we'll need to sort one out. Is it that one? But yeah, in the forums channel, just a title, short, just not a description of such, but just a buzz of what it is, and then a small description underneath. Um, and we'll look into what steps are needed for it. And within that thread, we'll discuss that only. I think that'd be a better way to work, because then it's all in threads. It's literally quick thing through. Uh, I'll implement a bot at some point over the next week when we're ready to start that system up. And when you make a new thread, it'll fill the first two slots, I want to say, with just chaff. And then after that, it's free discussion. Just the top two are to be able to edit it. So at a later date, if we want to put the how it's running, what the decision was, and stuff like that. So when people do click on it, they'll know exactly what's going on without having to scroll through. If you're all right with that, Stu.
yeah,
So that's again a simple enough process. I think I've got a bot that should do that already anyway, or at least very
because
close.
ultimately, I want the community to be sort of dictating the direction that we go to a large extent.
Yeah,
Obviously, if it's going in a direction which is just clearly wrong, then I'm not going to allow that. But I want it to be, as much as I can, community led, and me at the other end of the stick, just doing what's required
yeah. Well,
from the
you take it.
community.
You take all the information. You take the stick that they're giving us,
Yeah,
and then filter it down into a twig.
yeah, yeah, and then we can get stuff implemented in the direction that
Yeah,
we all
I mean,
think that we should be heading in.
I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I could push into it, like unwillingly, unwanted. You wouldn't want it. And I say that not in the sense of I'd be forcing it on you when you wouldn't want it. It's just you didn't want it, you didn't know you wanted it. A lot of changes that could not break it, but change the game completely. But I'd rather someone else turn around and say I'd like this rather than me saying you're having that. So,
Yeah,
like for example, the going between planets instead of having kyanite that you mined, you were mining all sorts of other random crap, for want of a better expression, that then were used somewhere, and then you had to get fuel. One of the suggestions that Sergeant made. So you had fuel that took you between stations and stuff like that. I could implement that, but whether it would be wanted, it's been suggested by one person. Stuff like that, we need to have an open discussion over. Um, so it's just a case of
yeah, and
make your point known, and we'll look into it.
all of those decisions, we can put to the community. If they want to input, they can. If they don't, then we'll do what we think is right. And I kind of like the idea of having something separate from kyanite as the fuel, where you
Yeah,
sort of got to buy the fuel with kyanite,
yeah, bring
but
a
you can run
sort of
out.
competitive edge to it. Even a
Yeah,
point where it'll cost you something to get the station to bring you back. Or if you do run out of fuel, then you're leaving that ship there until you can get a ship to go to it
yeah,
to with a jerry can. But then you run two ships out of fuel on the way there, or they
yeah,
both run out of fuel on the way back, and then you're playing that dangerous game of do I send another one or not, or do I ask someone on the way back to just drop a couple of drops of juice into my ship for me,
yeah.
or someone looted it all and it's gone. You just go back and it's wires,
And
and
I
then that'll
think
cost you
I
to
think all
repair.
I think all things like that would be real good for the game.
Yeah, I'd
But
like to see more strategy to it than anything.
yeah, but although we've mentioned a lot of things that potentially can be done, it's everything's going to be little bit by little bit.
Yeah,
Um, it's not going to be everything's going to be dumped in a week, and we're promising this is going to be done by the end of the year, because no promises of anything, no promise that anything is
yeah.
guaranteed to be implemented. It's
I,
just going to be as and when they're done,
mm,
they'll be coming out.
I'd probably personally say there's no promises on anything. We've got a
Yeah,
good starting point, and from here, I'd like to see at least personally a change once every 3 months. Maybe not a substantial thing, maybe nothing absolutely grandiose, but you'll log in and it'll be different.
yeah.
And I don't mean just different colours. I mean there might be another thing to click on. There might be another option, another small change in the way that you should be playing the game. Because now instead of going to the grasslands with nothing, you're gonna have to take two guys with you because that grassland's poisonous, and going there isn't gonna get you much in the way of kyanite because you're just gonna get minced off by some a rojo that jumped out of a tree,
Hmm.
munched you up, and now you're left with needing a new ship captain, or it's sabotaged, and because you didn't take yourself a mechanic or spare parts with you, then you know something like that might change. Just a
Yeah,
random new mechanic. We'll see. We'll see how quickly things can unfold the way it is at the minute.
yeah, and the way it is at the minute is you're doing this in your spare time, in your days off, and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
and
unfortunately, you had a week off for us.
yeah, having a week off's
So
great,
again,
but I mean, I can still get a lot done. It's just it's slower.
yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so if anyone wants to
Anyway,
donate some money, go to my wax address, and there's an NFT on there. If you buy that, the money will magically turn up in my account. All the money. Now I'm joking. I'm not in it for selling all sorts of crap. If people are buying packs and bits and pieces, then it's all good. But that should then not go into our pockets specifically. It should help fund certain other things, like propping up the tokens or NFTs or something like that, or randomly giving a certain percentage away each month from the intakings. So if you own a certain NFT, we might warrant like the grasslands that we were supposed to mint them. And I don't think using the I mean, I thought it was a great idea, minting the regular cost to people, but I think if you own that and you take it with you, there's a chance that you could seed it. So if you visit your own planets, then it's going to be your planet that seeds it, and you might have a higher chance of getting the regular NFT, and the regular NFT will be useful for making parts. You could clone maybe the regular NFT into it wouldn't be a first edition. It would be a second edition clone basically, which would act as or close to what the original NFT was, but it might be slightly less, so a 50% drop rate instead of a 100%. So it'd be half as effective, or a quarter, or something like that. But I'm not sure on that just yet.
Yeah, quite often it's just working out exactly what the mechanics of it are and stuff like that. So it's all just sort of needs a good discussion, a good talk, and a good think about it, and just sort of hash everything out and sort of
Yeah,
work it out from there.
well, what Cap says is basically if fuel's good, adds to complexity, which was the thought process behind it. Um, it's a way of making sure that it's cyclical because currently, the way it stands, at least on testnet when I've looked at it, and I've not looked at mainnet because I daredn't, but you go out, you fly out, you spend your kyanite, you receive the kyanite back anyway. You receive, I think, another set of the same amount of kyanite and a small percentage. Now, I don't think that's how it works on the mainnet. I think it's only the small percentage that you get and the fuel that you spent. But in reality, no. Granted, you've got a shed load of capacity on your ship. You're going out there, you're getting 100 kyanite, and that's it, and then you're flying back. You wouldn't send a bus 45,000 miles across into Iceland with one person on it. So you'd want to hop around, so the fuel would make more sense because you can fuel
Yeah,
them for being able to do 10 stops. So you've got a legendary fuel capacity. You can only do the maximum of, say, 3 parsecs. No, that'd be far too long. Say up to sector 6 in drops. That's it. You can't go any further unless you hit a petrol station at sector 6. Then you can go on to 12, and then so on. So there'd be a cap on the full maximum that you can actually travel. And I lost my train of thought completely on that. Oh yeah, that's the reason why we were thinking of the fuel, because you've got to think about where you're going and what you're doing. And if you're a planet owner and you're fully upgraded, you might be able to put a motel on there, which means a player can stop over for the night in a secure parking area that's guarded, instead of having to lay out overnight at a planet just in orbit where pirates can get them, for example. Um, or a fuel station. So when you've got a fuel station on there, you will set your price. So, for example, the station would be a 1-to-1 ratio. So it would be one fuel to one kyanite, and it would be one oil to one fuel, or you know what I mean. Whatever crafting recipe it would be of a 1-to-1 nature in scale. And then at your planet, you can't craft unless you've got a fuel refining facility, for example. Whereby which then you would have that and your fuel station, and you'd be able to charge 1.2% because you're out there places where people need the fuel. But you could then set your price anywhere under that, up to a minimum. of 0.95 to try and keep it competition-ish, but you could run out of fuel as well. So your competition at low fuel costs, if they're not able to keep up with the production, then they'll run out of fuel and you'll be giving the fuel for people to boost on. But that will be only fully upgraded planets because obviously there's reasons why people were upgrading anyway for the quests. So we'll warrant that with some game mechanic for the fully upgraded planets. Um, and then it should be, he says there, it should be the community should be supporting the game development and the labour it takes to make it successful. I'd agree with that, and the way I prefer support is by just giving us ideas, some suggestions. If you don't like something, let us know. Don't be afraid to just speak out and say, this is shit, what's going on? Or that's not working properly, could maybe change it this way. Um, the communication will go two ways. Transparency, I want you to be transparent enough to tell me that what's happened is crap or the change is rubbish. And we'll look at the reciprocal, keeping up with you guys. Maybe having a call, making sure that it's maybe not a call, but on a Friday night when I've worked early, then I'll jump on a call in here. And it might not be about Starship, it might not be about anything. It'll be just in here to have a chat with you all guys. It'll be open, jump in, speak. Might be playing a game. You might want to join playing the game. Something like Factorio, if anyone plays that. Probably a good enough game. Build a space factory. Um, and just spitball ideas and talk out how it's going. And at least once a month, we'll get on a call speaking over what changes are to be made, what changes have been made, what ideas have been suggested and implementable, and that kind of thing. And then we'll say personally once a quarter will be perfectly fine for me to hop on a call and properly speak game. So what mechanic changes have been implemented, what has been done, and what is ready to go out the next week, for example. It won't be a case of, oh, we're going to do this and it'll be coming out in a few months or anything. It'll be once every three, 3 months, 4 months. We'll sit down, and if there is anything that is to be changed, it will have been tested and ready and deployable at the time that it's spoken about. There'll be nothing that's hidden away in the sense of, yeah, we'll make this, we'll make that, we'll make the other, and then it won't be done. It will be implemented as it's spoke about. If that's all right with you. I know you say transparency, and that just sounds like I'm keeping everything hidden. But when I say that, I mean it won't be a case of I'm going to make false promises that it will be out by this certain time. I will be perfectly honest with you. If I don't think it's a feasible, easy, implementable idea, and when I say easy, I don't mean like anybody could do it kind of thing. I mean easy enough to just go, yeah, we can do that. Then I would say straight away, yeah, we can do that. And that might be implemented within the week and tested um, and ready within a certain area for people to bug test, tweak, and that kind of thing within a reactionary environment where it changes as the moment you log in, no messing around. And then once that's thoroughly tested, it gets to the end of that quarter. If it's perfectly fine, then it goes live. Everybody gets it. But if we are doing that, then we do also need people on board who are going to be streaming it, for example. I'm going to say. So, as I say, the Friday nights when we're up and doing just chatting about, one or two of us jump onto a stream, play the game for a bit, play out some of the new mechanic parts. So, for example, I implemented a card game into there, like Uno or something. Then we just sit and play a game of Uno in Starship on someone's planet. Um, and as long as other people are happy to do that, then I'll be happy to do that.
Uno?
Yeah, Uno. You know Uno, don't you?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? Has my ship just changed again? Am I tripping? Did I just see that?
You're not
If
sharing your screen anymore.
I am,
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I can't see it.
Is it not showing up? Is it showing up now?
No.
Have you clicked off on the chat and you're on your phone?
Yeah, probably.
Oh, you just
No,
pulling you're pulling my leg, aren't you?
no, I can't see it.
It flickered for sure. Oh, so you did see my shapes change. They were sat like this, and then um,
It didn't flicker. You're tripping. You've been licking those mushrooms again.
I wish I knew what ship numbers they were.
I can't even see your screen. I don't know what the hell I've done.
Anyway, that's probably a good time to end the stream, as in like I'm gonna stop recording now, because we are kind of just sat in here